Okay, let's try this. My collection so far. Right now, I'm wearing a stretchy hybrid wrap. Don't mind the fact that I'm just in a sports bra. It's hot around here today, so we're not getting dressed. This is my favorite go-to carrier for all three because I can pop from one to the next without having a major issue. The next up that is my second favorite is definitely my Ergo, and it's this bright blue one. You can see the infant insert. I just use the pillow. I don't use the whole thing because the whole thing's a pain in the rear. We also have a lovely green Mai Tai. I have my ring sling next, and then my woven wrap last. The woven wrap is the least used. Now I can show you guys a couple different things with each carrier and the quick and easy ones. The big thing on like the Ergo is when I'm putting it on, I buckle the waist strap on first, obviously. And then these shoulder straps I buckle on first. So let me get that carrier. And I'm going to show you guys it over the wrap because I don't feel like untying the wrap right now, and babies don't care one way or another. So I pre-buckle the waist strap. I pre-buckle the back shoulder strap, which, let's see if I can get it, there we go. And let's see, let's grab a baby. Miss Michelle wants to go up, right? Yeah. Let me put the phone down. Here's the big secret for her. I tuck this infant insert right there in the folds of their butts, and then I pull the whole thing up behind them, hold on to it, pass the shoulder straps and get those in place on me, and then we both kind of duck in. Teresa, don't touch the phone. And I pull tight. And then when I'm doing things like picking up toys, I squat instead of bending over, because if you bend over, you can see their head kind of flops out. But if I squat, they don't do that as much. So I can still clean up the house. I sweep, I mop, that kind of stuff. I don't try to get close to, say, the sink because it's just, you know, I don't want the carrier necessarily wet, and they do stick out quite a ways, but I still have some arm room. So I have been known to type and things like that. I worked in this carrier for months. T went with me to work, and she rode in this until she was big enough to go on my back, and then she went on my back. So let's switch. To get off again, I just quickly slide these out. Oh, I hear you. You're gonna go up in a second. And then I flip the whole thing up. And you can see how she is just sitting on that butt pillow. Her legs are nice and frogged, but that butt pillow is just kind of right in place. Down she goes. Okay, now to get it to a toddler carrier and on my back, I just loosen the waist strap, unbuckle that, shift the whole thing to my hip. You want to go up? And she flies up. I pull the whole thing up, making sure these straps are nice and loose, because that's the big key on this. I grab this back strap right here, and then I pass it back under my arm and catch it with the other side. And so then it gets put in place. This one comes around and gets put in place, and then baby just goes hop, hop. Fasten the chest strap. And tighten everything down. As you can tell, she still loves being up. Now, because I've already pre-done this wrap, I've still got lots of slack here. Oh, don't fuss. We're gonna get Michelle back up. We're gonna pick Miss Michelle back up. And she goes into the intercross Oh, hush, Teresa. And then I spread out the passes, inner side first, which is this one. Bounce her down a little bit because with her sister on my back, she tends to sit a little high. A lot of times I'll put the baby in first and then put the ergo on, but I did opposite today. So, spread that pass, and then there's a bottom rail that I tuck up and over. And so now she's nice and secure. The big one's carried and staying out of trouble. If I need to pick up toys, again, I can squat down. I support the neck a little bit. But with just a single baby up front and one on my back, I can do the dishes if I need to. I'm close enough to the sink. She's actually sitting, don't mind my dishes, I haven't done them yet. She's sitting well above the sink. So I can do my dishes, you know. We do a lot of picking up toys. Again, I can sweep, mop, that kind of stuff. Type at the computer. I can't quite do that with the one on the back, but I can if it's just the single baby on the front. So that gives you an idea on that. And hold on, I'm going to get the baby off my back so I can then put both babies on the front.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got the ergo off, and I just kind of reverse the process. To get Michelle and Alex tied on, I kind of take one leg out of the outside pass. Just going to use the inside pass for her. So she's nice and secure in the inside pass. I kind of bubble her up over onto one side. And then I go get her sister. Meet Miss Alex. She goes and lays kind of across her sister's head for a moment until I can get her leg in. And this is the tricky part, getting them both straddled in here safely and well. Okay, and then I kind of bounce them down, get all legs secured. Oh, don't fuss. And then again, that bottom rail. If I can tuck all their feet in, comes up. There's a lot of little feet here. And I separate them, though they have a tendency to lean in towards each other. I separate them out, and they're nice and secure and tight. So, not that you can see both of them, but they're both there. So, that's how they ride when they're both fussy. And again, I don't do as much in this position just because this is usually when they're cranky and nobody's happy. So, oh, big bird. But they're both snuggled in nice and tight. If one falls asleep, their head just kind of gets passed into the shoulder rail, turns sideways. But they're not asleep, so they're not content with that right now. Okay, so that's how the girls both go in. Now, with no adjustments, I have only just moved the bottom pass a little bit lower, loosen these up by just kind of stretching them out a little bit. In goes the monster child. And she's about 26 to 28 pounds. Get your foot in there. Oh, get those butts. Get your butt. And as you can see, she just kind of slides into the same pocket that I've gone from one baby to two babies to now all three. Oh, hold on. And she likes her arms out because she's a toddler and doesn't want to be contained. Don't pop your butt. Ugh. Thank you. Joys of motherhood with toddlers. She just spit chicken all over me that I didn't realize she had in her mouth. But I'll clean it up in a minute. Arms in for a second. I do tuck her arms in until I make sure I have these passes nice and spread. So she pops them right back out. I don't put the other strap on her just because she doesn't need necessarily the extra support. She's pretty good about hanging on. Yes, you're pretty good about hanging on. So that's the wrap and the ergo. Okay, this is a ring sling. I made this one myself, so it cost me maybe 25 bucks in materials and things. To adjust, you want to put your arm in and kind of chicken wing it out to see, make sure you're far enough away from the body that you can comfortably fit a baby and not have to adjust too much. I put the rings high, right up on my shoulder. T, do you want to go up? Come here. Otherwise I grab a baby. Come here. She doesn't want to go up, obviously, so I'll grab a baby. Now she wants to go up. Joys of jealous toddlers. So she goes in a slightly different position. She goes more on my hip. Grab both feet, drag them down. Get that butt nice and tight. You tuck up really well underneath their butt. Get to shut. And then what I do is I drag everything, don't start, all the extra material gets dragged towards the rings before I ever start to tighten. Don't pop. There you go. And she's in a mood, so she's trying to pop this carrier and nothing flat, and she usually can if she wants to. You want down? But you can see she's got a nice M shape, nice and tight. And she's really whiny. To loosen, you just loosen the rings. Pop baby up. She loves getting in and out of carriers. The only one she really stays in is the ergo on my back. Okay, go play. For a baby, I kind of do the same thing. Only I leave their legs tucked up and in. And again, you pull everything towards the rings. Don't pull on the carrier, baby. So their legs are nice and frogged up against my belly. Get all the slack pulled towards the rings. That helps it less move when you adjust. And then tighten top rail around their backs and necks. Tighten bottom rail to make sure that butt's nice and secure. And she keeps popping her legs out, so she might want her legs out today. Nice and tight. This is my favorite carrier for nursing and things like that because it can easily be nurseable in. All you have to do is lower them down and they can nurse pretty much self-sufficiently. And then I read a good tip to get the tails out of the way is to kind of tuck them between the carrier and the baby. And this one has an extremely long tail. Most of them don't, but if you tuck, you just only tuck the once. This one again has an extremely long tail, so it can come all the way around. But I purposely made it with a long tail so I could also back carry with my ring sling. So that's the ring sling. And as you can see, she's nice and awake. If she falls asleep, I can bring this up against her head and support her more towards, get out of the swing, towards my chest. This is a great one as they get bigger for quick in and outs. You know, if you're at the park and you just need to carry her from the park to the playground or whatnot, this is my go-to. It's not my favorite for longer term carries. Though as a baby, they're lightweight enough you could go a lot longer because it's spread more around your whole back instead of just off one shoulder. So that's the ring sling. Okay, next up is the Mai Tai. This is my newest carrier, so I'm not as used to it. For the toddler, you tie on this way. For the infants, you tie it on upside down like an apron. And I'm gonna wear the infants first and then I'll switch it to toddler. So you just tie it around your waist. I'll get you up in it in a minute. Let's put a baby up first. He's the happiest. and you're closest. So you get to be experimental baby number 2 again. Again, nice and frog-legged, get their backs nice and supported. Put the shoulder straps up and over. Now you're gonna reach behind you while baby's well supported and grab the shoulder straps. And I'm just gonna cross and as I said, this is my newest carrier, so I'm not as fluent in this one. So I just cross the straps in the back and then I'm tying it around my waist. So she's nice and supported. Again, she's actually got not a whole lot of wiggle room. She's comfortable. I've got the waist a little too loose, so her feet are kind of hanging out. But I'll tighten that up later. So that's the Mai Tai for an infant. Again, it's not my favorite carrier yet. We'll see how it develops as I get bigger. Hold on. I'll go up. T, don't pause. Okay, now I've got it tied for the toddler. Toddler, Miss T. Spread them. There you go. So for her, I'm going to do a different shoulder variation. I'm going to go up and over my shoulders, grab around the back so I can hold tight, and then I'm just going to pull it forward so that there's no cross in the back. Go under the first, or over the first leg, under the second. And she sunk a little bit because I let, over the first, under the second. And this is gonna tie in the back. You know, it would help if you didn't wiggle. And this is my least favorite because it gets a little diggy on my shoulders. And in the mood she's in, it's not. It's more comfortable for the twins, but it's more diggy for her. So this is probably my least favorite for the toddler. The ergo and the wrap are still the most comfortable for longer term carries. So that's my carriers, and this is my crazy life with 3 kids and no husband at home. So I wear a lot.